Well, if you thought that the White Tiger getting taken out in episode 3 was pretty quick, I would argue that Muse getting taken out in this episode was probably just as quick. But let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sector for Nerds. Today I'm here to give you guys my thoughts on Daredevil Born Again episode 7. Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. There's plenty of great content every single week here on my channel. You guys, a lot of Star Wars content, as I am a big Star Wars fan. So you guys definitely don't want to miss out on any of that for those Star Wars fans out there. And obviously as well, we've got these Daredevil discussions going up every single week as well. And we're going to do them again once this show comes out with season 2 or season 5, if, we consider this season 4. You get what I mean. I did want to give you guys my brief thoughts on some big news that has hit the Marvel universe over the past couple of days, because a lot has happened, right, since we last sat here and spoke with each other. So I thought, you know what, I think if there was ever a time to do it, it'd be right now. So recently they announced the Avengers Doomsday cast, which was very exciting. I think with the cast that they have, I can't imagine this movie not succeeding. And if it didn't, then I would definitely raise concerns. At the end of the day, I hope that it's good. And again, if it's not good with the group of people that they have, I think Marvel would definitely be in trouble. I would also like to point out as well to everybody that I don't think all of these characters are going to get all of the center of attention that you think they are, because I remind you, this is going to be what, like a 2.5, 3-hour movie? And they displayed like over 18 different characters. There is not going to be enough time to center on all of them. I promise you that. They had all these people in Infinity War and Endgame and stuff. And everyone had their moments to shine at different points. But everyone complained in Avengers Endgame that Doctor Strange barely had any spotlight. So I can see stuff like that happening in Doomsday. So I would encourage people, you saw those casting names there and you're getting excited for some of your favorites. Don't be surprised if they don't get the screen time that you're looking for. That's not me being negative. That's just me being honest. We've got Spider-Man 4 Brand New Day releasing July 31st, 2026. I think I heard correctly that Spider-Man, the events of Doomsday are going to be around the same time that whatever Spider-Man's got going on. That to me says Sony went, yeah, we don't want Spider-Man in this movie. That don't work for us, brother. That's what that reeks of to me. And then there is my personal favorite thing that was announced just the other day. And that is that Spider-Man Beyond the Spiderverse is going to release June 4th, 2027. Now, I know there's a lot of people frustrated, right? Like, oh my gosh, we have to wait so long for this movie. What I will say is this, you guys. All right, we had to wait 4.5 years or so between the first movie and the second movie. And then by the time that this one comes out, it'll be, between 2 and 3, there will be 4 years. The difference being, right, is that one didn't necessarily have a cliffhanger at the end, a major cliffhanger, where the second one did. So I definitely understand it. And they were promoting that whole time, right? Like, hey, we're going to have this movie coming out the next year. And I get the strikes and everything got in the way of that. But man, it's like, all right, if you're going to make us wait that long to get answers to this massive cliffhanger that you left us on, this better be one of the best superhero animated movies of all freaking time. Everybody that knows me knows that I have an immense love and respect for the Spider-Verse. I absolutely adore it. I adore all of the main characters like Miles and Gwen and Peter. So I want this to succeed. I put out a post the other day. I was like, Sony, you guys are not allowed to fail at this. So now that I've given you guys all my thoughts on what's coming up in the MCU, let's get into today's episode of Daredevil. Now, I gotta say, you guys, for those who've been watching my videos, you guys know, the last couple of episodes, man, I haven't liked. I think they've been very underwhelming. I don't think they've been that good. It was actually, I was kind of taken aback at how many people actually enjoyed last week's episodes. I was like, wow, really? But as I always say, to each his own. I will say this week's episode, I thought was a massive step up. I think the first episode was probably still my favorite, but this one was still good. The start of this episode where Fisk learns that Daredevil is back out there again was so freaking good, because he's like, son of a gun, the man freaking did it, and now I'm gonna have to put an end to him. I almost wonder if there's a part of him that's secretly excited that he's back in the game, because now he can actually like exert his revenge on him, right? He says later in the episode, this man ruined his life for like a good decade, right? Daredevil went after all of Fisk's allies. He locked all them up, right? Like he put away the Fisk regime that was controlling Hell's Kitchen. You know that man wants revenge. And now the fact that he's mayor, like he has the tools to do it. You know, I talk about with Daredevil season 3, one of the scariest things of that season is the fact that like Fisk had, it felt like almost everyone in his back pocket by the end of that season. And it left you with this implication of like, well, the only way out is Fisk's death. Daredevil proved in the end that didn't need to happen. But now this man is mayor, which means he now has even more tools at his disposal that he wouldn't have had before. He's got his own secret cop organization now. It's like this dude keeps amassing more and more power. And it kind of gets you to the point of like, all right, when is enough enough? Like, what is the end goal here? Like, what is it going to take for Daredevil to finally stop this guy? Is he gonna have to go over that line and finally take out Fisk once and for all? Questions that will have to be answered. I think Matt has more pressing matters to worry about, and that's the fact that his girlfriend is starting to figure out that something's going on with him, the same way that Karen used to question him. It's just this repeated cycle with Matt. He can't break it, man. But he did get himself a little shower romance in there before that, you know? This man's a menace. So there's a couple more things we have to figure out when it comes to this episode. A couple big discussion points. So the first one is we get the identity of Muse. And I kind of like figured out where they were going with it when they talked about the kid. And then like they kept cutting back and forth between the kid having the discussion with Heather. And then you had the police officer chatting with Fisk. I love how she was like, how familiar are you with Taekwondo? And Fisk just went, I prefer boxing. Would you have been around the time that Matt's father was boxing? Is that part of the joke? I don't know. But then, yeah, you think like Muse is going to start doing all this crazy stuff to Heather. And really the worst that it got for her is like she got cut in the arm. And then he was going to like start injecting all this stuff into her, you know, kind of the same way he did with that other girl. But, you know, thanks to Matt kind of doing some underground digging stuff and figuring some things out, he figures out where Muse ends up going. So then we get Daredevil versus Muse part 2 during the middle of the fight when it looks like, you know, Muse is going after Daredevil. And all of a sudden, Heather just injects a bunch of bullets into Muse and he dies. It was kind of like when Karen just injected a bunch of bullets into James Wesley, you know? Man, the parallels right now. I will admit, I was very surprised that Muse got taken out when he did. I was like, okay, surely this guy's going to stick around through the majority of the season. Now, I get that Fisk is like the main villain of this, right? Like there's no disputing that. But I also think that, okay, like maybe you keep Muse around until the end of the season and then maybe take him out then or something like that. And then Daredevil can fully go after Fisk or something with like the second season. I don't know. Like, obviously, I think they're setting up for some big confrontation at the end of the season between Daredevil and Fisk. But I don't know. I thought like Muse could have had like a part in there somewhere, but clearly that's not the case. He got taken out. If I'm being honest with you guys, like, I don't know, like the Muse character really didn't do anything for me. And maybe part of it is like he didn't have enough time on screen. Like, I don't know, but like there was a level of intrigue that I had with him like at the start when they brought him in. But I feel like as the story with him went on, it was like, I don't know if I really care about this. The same thing with like the Fisk and Vanessa stuff, right? Where I was like, I'm giving it a chance. And then you come out of it, it's like, okay, I really don't care about this. Speaking of Vanessa, y'all see the dress that she was wearing at the end of this episode? Did she not look like Princess Fiona, or am I just tripping here? But then in the end, right, like when Fisk finally arrives on the scene and he's, you know, is trying to figure out what's going on, they pretty much say like, hey, Daredevil was there. And at first I was like, okay, well, surely he's going to put this on Daredevil and be like, see, this is why we can't have vigilantes running around the city. But no, what he did was he spun it a different way and went, no, the NYPD, you guys did your jobs. And then Fisk goes on the air later and said that I was going to bring justice to this city. I was going to start taking these people out. Here's one of them. And they show the mask of Muse. And I'm like, Okay, I see what you're playing at now, Fisk. I get it. And now, through that, he's now going to try to turn the people against Daredevil, right? Like that's what this is heading to. It's just being done in a different way than what I was expecting. But the other big question that I have coming out of this episode is, did Vanessa send that guy to that restaurant that Fisk was sitting in, eating his fancy dinner, probably eating some really fancy, expensive steak or whatever. And then the guy that comes in gets shot by Fisk's new buddy. Did Vanessa send him there to actually try to kill her husband? Or was it a setup to get that guy killed? Because I don't know. I'm very curious, because then if that's the case, it's like, whoa, okay, like Vanessa really is just trying to take power for herself right now or something. But either way, right, like even if Vanessa did order the killing, Fisk saw it coming, which then means that Fisk knew that his wife would try to do this to him. That's crazy. So yeah, you guys, that is gonna wrap us up for this episode. Next week, we're obviously going to talk about episode 8 when that releases. I remember I was watching that mid-season trailer or whatever, and I saw there were a couple like action shots there with the Punisher, and I was like, oh, okay, we ain't done with this man yet. Frank Castle ain't done. So that makes me very excited to see where they take that. So yeah, overall, this episode definitely much better than the last couple of episodes have been, in my opinion. And hopefully it just continues to go up for the rest of the season, because we only got 2 more episodes left. So these last 2 episodes better be damn good. I'll tell you that much. So with that, you guys, that is going to wrap us up for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video with others to help support the channel, and I will see you guys next time.